Benelli Leoncino 500, a new naked scrambler style bike that I'll be doing a first impressions review of. Firstly, styling wise, I think it's a great looking bike. It has the retro scrambler looks but with a modern twist. Some really nice touches like these LED indicators and daytime running lights in the main headlight. As far as comfort's concerned, I found it to be really good. Initially I thought the seat and suspension were a bit hard, but then again I'm comparing it to my usual bike, which is an adventure bike. After I've been riding a short while, I soon got used to it and I thought it was fine. The riding position's really comfortable, it's quite upright, so even long distance I think it would be good. I was out for a couple of hours and didn't have any issues. And of course this is a naked bike, so it's never going to be a big tourer. As the seat height's really low, I think it's only 785mm, it would suit smaller riders and it's really manageable and controllable. The switch gears are all pretty much as expected for this style of bike. There's no fancy ride modes or anything. It does have ABS though, which can be switched off. The ABS is because it's Euro 4 compliant. It also has a really nice LCD display, which I found to be really clear and very easy to read. This includes all the usual stuff like speedo and rev counter, as well as a proper fuel gauge and trip meters too. So even in the sun I found that easy to read, which is really important, especially at speed. So to the engine. The engine's a 500cc inline twin. It has 47 brake horsepower and 45 newton meters of torque, which is actually fine for a bike of this type. It never felt like it was struggling or underpowered. Because of the power, it also means it's A2 license friendly, and I do think it'd be a great first bike. It never feels underpowered and the exhaust sounds great. At low revs it burbles along nicely, so through town centres it just sounds really cool. And under hard acceleration it sort of goes into a howl, so again that sounds great. And this is with the standard stock exhaust as well. It'd be interesting to hear an aftermarket can on it. So how much does it cost? It's just over £5,000, brand new on the road, which I think is a bit of a bargain. If you compare it to say the Ducati Scrambler, they're nearly £7,000, a Triumph Scrambler is around £8,000. This is only £5,000. It may not be up there with those guys, but that's a big price difference. So I do think for the cost, it's a really good proposition. So in summary, I think it looks great, it rides and handles really well, it seems really well put together, and everything's decent quality. So who do I think it's aimed at? Who do I think it suits? I think it'd be a really good first big bike for someone who's just passed the test. Maybe someone coming back to biking after a few years break, or even as a sort of stylish commuter. So what are my top 3 things that I like about this bike? The first is how easy it is to ride. It's really light, nimble, handles nicely, very manageable. I jumped straight on and was instantly at home. The second thing is the engine and the noise it makes from the exhaust. I think it's a really tractable engine, not massively powerful, but always feels good and it sounds great, no matter where you are in the rev range. And the final thing that I like best about it is the price. I do think it's a real bargain at just over £5,000. So any negatives with the bike? There was some slight vibrations around 4,000 to 5,000 revs. You could feel that slightly through the pegs, and bizarrely only one of my mirrors you'd get a little bit of shake at that. But I did adjust that mirror and it seems to sort of clear that up, so I don't think that's a real negative. All bikes have some vibes. I didn't find it to be bad at all. The only other thing is I found the suspension was a little bit hard, but apparently that can be adjusted at the rear at least anyway. The front forks aren't adjustable, but the rear suspension can be adjusted, so maybe that would have sorted that out anyway. And finally, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to Ride Motorbikes, who are based near Keighley. Do check them out at ridemotorbikes.co.uk. They are a Benelli dealer. They also send things like the MASH bikes, and they have a really good selection of used bikes. So head to the website or do pop along and ride one of these for yourselves.